Part of our looking at coming together as one corporation was also looking at Port Catholic, which when it merged, when the two parishes created Port Catholic 25 years ago, I guess that was the solution they came up with. Instead of having one name on that it would be a standalone corporation. So in a sense, it's not like a parish school that you might experience in other places, but if we move towards a merged parish, we're looking to bring that back in and have one parish and one parish school. And so we thought it would also be good just to get a little update from Jeff Williams. He's on the finance committee of the school. He's been on there for years and been past chairperson of the school board. Okay.
Thank you. Good afternoon. School finance meeting was met this past Monday, and we put together our final budget for 2015-16. In preparing for this, we're going to give you just a quick kind of 25,000 foot level of where the finances are for the school. As said in the past, support for Port Catholic is really comes from repair support, fundraising, and then from tuition. So it's those three legs that really make up the funding of our school and success therefore. In keeping stewardship, working very carefully with the parish money, we increased tuition this year approximately 7.5%, and the parish subsidy is flat for the last couple of years. Approximate staff salary raises of about 1%, and we are projecting a flat enrollment for 2015-16 from the current year of about 199. That takes into account the K-4 program that we are a site for the Port Washington Saukville School District, so that does help in the numbers. As far as revenue, again, fundraising, we budgeted about 184,000. Parish subsidy about 325,000, and tuition at about 480,000. Miscellaneous other income from an endowment, grants, childcare, things of that. Total about $1.1 million. The expense side is primarily teacher staff and benefits. Those two items alone are approximately $1,030,000. So you can see with a budget of 1.1 of revenue and expense of $1,030,000, a lot of it is involved in staffing of the salaries and benefits. So when there's mentions of cuts to be made, there really isn't a lot of wiggle room. So we're budgeting for 2015-16 a net loss of about $5,500, which over the last 3 years we've had a negative budget due to earlier conversations, but we projected that this year will be virtually a flat budget. As far as our financial positions, cash in our checking and money market account right now about $220,000. Faith in Our Future, which was a project of 4 years ago or so, there's a balance of about $67,000, and that's dedicated for tuition subsidy, tuition reimbursement, and textbook assistance. We have taken some of that into income over the past couple of years. And then the school does have an endowment. My understanding is from the creation of the Port Catholic School 20-some years ago, and that stands at about $433,000. We have get into that as far as some of our income as well. That's all that I have.
Just from the quick overview, you can see that our financial people keep a close tab on what's coming in and what's going on, and watching over that, and I really appreciate the work that the finance councils do for our parishes and for our school. I'm not a numbers man myself, but we have to work with what we expect to be coming in. On May 26th, that was a Tuesday, last Tuesday in May, our cluster council met, and one of the things we proposed and passed on was to request the Archbishop to give us permission to continue moving forward for merging the 4 corporations. And I would just like to read parts of the letter that was composed and sent to the Archbishop on May 27th. Dear Archbishop Listecki, I am writing as the team moderator, soon to be pastor of Immaculate Conception Parish in Saukville, St. Mary Parish in Fort Washington, St. Peter of Alcantara Parish in Fort Washington, and the Fort Washington Catholic School. Our cluster council unanimously agreed on Tuesday, May 26th, that this is the appropriate time to pursue merging these 4 corporate entities into one corporation. In the Vision 21 document, we are defined as a parish cluster, eventually to be served by 1 priest. This will happen in July when Father Tom Lievsky retires. Our 3 parishes and school have been working well these past 6 years as a cluster. We've been functioning with a cluster pastoral council for 3 years, and our light committees, for example, prayer and worship and building and grounds, have been meeting together to discuss cluster issues, and then they break off into their specific parish tasks. We have, however, an even longer history of cooperation in the sharing of youth ministry, child ministry, pastoral associate, and director of services personnel. Merging our 4 corporations, then, strikes us as the next logical step for the Fort Washington Saukville Catholic faith community. Therefore, we request your permission to begin the merger process as soon as possible, with the goal of being merged by July 1st, 2016, while keeping all 3 worship sites and school operational. And then I say some other stuff. And this really came from the Cluster Council, but also from the ad hoc visioning committee that was put together in November. And Bob is going to talk a little bit about some of the things that the visioning committee is working on and maybe part of the process of where we are at this point.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I am going to talk to you just a little bit about what the visioning committee is about. And I also, in our 9-member committee, drew the short straw on this one. So, but no, we're really excited to have gotten together, as Father Pat said, back in November, and begin planning the analysis of what the future of the cluster is going to look like. The ad hoc committee consists of 9 members, 2 from each of the parishes: Dan Becker, Jerry Dickman, Jim Pauley, myself, Joe Roden, Jeff Schmidt from the school board, Mike Weiland from the school board, Mort Seidel from Immaculate Conception, and Chris Flynn from the pastoral council. So we're well represented from each of the committees. So our charge is really to, as I said, lead the future of the cluster, and this committee reports to the pastoral council. We make recommendations on where to go, how we're going to look in the future, take it to the pastoral council, and they then move forward. Father Pat gave the example of the consolidation of the incorporation of our church and school. And another thing we're working on right now is the consolidation of the campuses, St. Mary's and St. Peter's, into one school campus. All this is being done as part of our mission statement, against the mission statement, which includes strengthening our parishes and deepening our cluster relationship, and to really help us become that thriving Catholic community in Port and Saukville. So we're in the process right now of continuing